Hi, Rachel Tosh here, content expert for Speech Parent. Today we're going to talk about one of the questions I get asked all the time. As you know, speech therapists, speech pathologists use all these big words, and they use all these words to describe things that other people would use different words for. So today we're going to talk about some of the words that speech pathologists use and what we mean by those words. Now, one of the most common things that we hear from parents is that my child's having trouble talking. Now, trouble talking can be broken down into two main areas, which is speech and language. And today we're going to talk about exactly what the difference is between those two things, because some people think they're the same thing, but they're actually different. So here's how they're different. So speech. Now, when we're talking about speech, we're actually talking about how clearly we speak. So we're talking about how we pronounce words. So other words that are used for that is articulation, and it's about how we pronounce the words. So, for example, if a child is saying tat for cat, then they're demonstrating a speech error. Now, some speech errors are normal and some are not normal, and we'll talk about that in a different blog post. But for today, I just want you to understand that speech is to do with how we pronounce words. So if your child is hard to understand, then chances are they have some speech errors. Now, the second area that we're going to talk about today is language. Now, language is all about the words and how we use words. So that's how big our child's vocabulary is, but it's also about how much they understand. So, language is about words, concepts, and sentences. So, an example of a child who's having trouble with their language skills is a late talker who isn't actually talking yet. Now, that child might also have some speech errors, but their primary difficulty is actually in expressive language, so being able to use words to convey wants and needs. Now, words, so some of the difficulties that kids might have might be things like, for example, they don't have many words in their vocabulary. Or it might be that they use a word that's just not quite right. So they use, for example, stick light to talk about a street lamp. Or it might be that they're getting the word order in their sentence jumbled up, or they're having trouble with things like he and she, is and are, getting those mixed up. So that's the difference between speech and language. Speech is about clarity and how clearly we pronounce words. Language is about the actual words that we use, and also about understanding words and sentences when other people use them. So talk, eat, play and learn, and we'll see you next time.